What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW videos. So I hope you have had a ton of fun going out and raiding Latios to try to get yourself the shiny variant. And with it being added into the game, I thought this would be a really good time to do a deep dive on Latios. So we will be talking about it from a raid perspective, PvP, should you power it up, unlock the secondary charge move, and then of course so much more. So if you do enjoy this type of content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Latios, with a max AP of 3,812. Latios is a dual type of Dragon and Psychic type. If you go ahead and take a look at the statistical rankings, you will see that its best stat is its attack stat at 268, ranked at 16th, and then its worst stat is its stamina at 190, ranked out at 123rd, but it does have an overall ranking of 14th in Pokemon Go. In regards to the moveset, go ahead and check this out. Something very special about it is it does have access to a double stab moveset, either Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, or Zen Headbutt Psychic, and we will be talking about Latios from the rating perspective and actually taking a look at it from not only the Dragon typing, but also taking a look at it from the Psychic type. I think personally it kind of gets left out of the equation a little bit, but you'd be surprised in the performance versus the Psychic type attacker. So let's go ahead and pull up two main examples. We have Giratina Origin Form as well as Palkia. If you go ahead and take a look at the results, it pretty much mirrors itself. Yes, you will see Latios in at the number 6 spot, which is very interesting, mostly for the fact that there are some pseudo-legendaries, non-legendaries, that are actually outperforming it, and it really does kind of come down to the moveset. Unfortunately for Latios, the move Dragon Claw is not the most ideal from the rating perspective. However, in PvP, having Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw is ideal, so it's kind of like a toss-up as far as usability is concerned. But if you are interested in why it doesn't necessarily perform as well, it really does come down to the moveset as well as just some hyper competition from the Dragon typing. So why not go ahead and take a look at some raid results versus a Machamp, with Machamp being weak to the Psychic typing. I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get Latios and use the double Psychic type moveset instead and see how it does. And as you can see on the results, it once again is hanging around that number 6 spot. So yeah, it's pretty much neck and neck as far as how it ranks out as a Dragon type, as a Psychic type. There are some other options that definitely outpace it in a lot of ways. So unfortunately, Latios from a raid perspective is not that great. For me personally, I'm probably just going to keep raiding it until I can get the shiny variant. But then once I get that, I don't think I'm going to invest it, especially if you were looking at it from just the raid perspective. But that's not all we do on this type of series, so let's go ahead and take a look at some results from the PvP side. So the results are a little bit more promising for Latios from the PvP side, specifically taking a look at the Masters League. It is pretty much guaranteed that a lot of these Pokemon with these really high attack stats, once they get down to a lower league, they don't perform as well. And then in some cases like Latios, you really don't have a natural way to get it down to qualify for the Great League. But luckily for us, that doesn't matter because it does perform the best in the Masters League. Go ahead and check out this list of the top performers in the Masters League. You will see it in at the number 8 spot. And as far as the moveset is concerned, it is rocking out that Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, and then Psychic. Psychic will get that stab benefit, so that's probably why it works the best. It also has access to Solar Beam, which I do think is fairly interesting because it is such a great move. But once again, when we're talking about it from a PvP perspective, it's unfortunately not that great of a move. So I would actually stick with the Dragon Claw and then maybe go for Psychic. But if you are trying to consider whether or not you should unlock the secondary charge move, first off, it really depends on what you are interested in. From a raid perspective, I don't see it being quite as useful. And then from a PvP, if you are super invested into the game, it's not a bad option to go ahead and do that. However, there is a hefty cost associated to it with 100 candies as well as 100,000 Stardust, so definitely keep that in mind. So this next section is not always applicable to all of the Pokemon that we cover in the Deep Dive series, but occasionally we run across a Pokemon that does have a Mega Evolution, and yes, Latios does have a Mega Evolution. If it were to become available in the game, who knows, maybe it become more viable in that way. It also does have some competition though amongst some other great typings, especially from the dragon typing. Where you're talking about a Pokemon like Garchomp or Rayquaza, for example, also obtaining a Mega. So who knows how Latios is going to do in the future, but this could be a reason for you to kind of hold out on it. Maybe go ahead and build up your candy count, but not necessarily invest in it, at least for now. So yeah, for me personally, I'm not going to power it up. Maybe once Megas get introduced, I would consider it at that point. So I'm just gonna hold on to it for now, but I definitely wanna know what you think about it in the comment section below. What is your plan for this Pokemon? Do you want to go ahead and just get yourself a shiny and move on? Or do you actually like Latios and do plan on using it? Definitely let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.